During the 1960s, Operation Ranch Hand was an American military program that involved the widespread dousing of the Vietnamese forest and farmland in a herbicide that kills any plant that it touches. That herbicide was Agent Orange. And not only did it kill off huge amounts of crops that were feeding everyday people and in the process creating massive food shortages, but it also contained trace amounts of a carcinogen, dioxin. Dioxin is blamed for hundreds of thousands of deaths from cancer across Vietnam, Thailand, and among American Vietnam War veterans. Agent Orange was manufactured on behalf of the American military by companies that already had experience and infrastructure in manufacturing herbicides. That means big agricultural chemicals companies, among them Monsanto. Shortly after the war, Monsanto started selling a brand new herbicide, just as devastatingly effective as Agent Orange, but without the cancerous effects. At least that's what they thought, put a pin in that. That new herbicide had a catchy name, Roundup, but the key ingredient was called glyphosate. Roundup really came into its own in the mid-90s when Monsanto released one of the first ever commercial GMO crops, Roundup Ready soybeans, followed shortly by Roundup Ready canola. That's the canola that Percy Schmeiser was taken to court for. Check out the first video for that story. Glyphosate works, but is part of an essential chemical pathway that exists in plants and bacteria but not in animals. It produces amino acids that are necessary for life to function. Roundup Ready crops work by importing a gene from a specific bacterium that is a version of the ESPS synthase with a slightly different structure that allows it to basically deflect the impact of glyphosate and be able to carry on its work. That means that you can spray your field with glyphosate even while your crops are already growing, and it will kill all the weeds and leave your crop plants alive and healthy, which is actually a pretty attractive proposition. Today, Roundup still exists, and Roundup Ready crops still exist, but if you look under the hood, the chemical in the bottle and the chemical that the plants are going to be genetically engineered to be resistant to is less likely to be glyphosate. There are other herbicides available, new versions of herbicide-resistant crops that have been developed to pair up with those herbicides. But overall, the basic idea of matching a herbicide with a corresponding genetically modified resistant crop continues to be a hugely popular product line for farmers. The reason glyphosate in particular is less favored now is that increasing evidence has shown that it causes cancer. And just recently, Bayer has offered a multi-billion-dollar payout to Americans with a history of glyphosate exposure who have developed Hodgkin's lymphoma. You can take a deeper dive into all of this with me in the latest episode of Modified. You can listen on your favorite podcast app. Check it out now.